My name is Simon, and I'm one of the product owners in TimeLog. And this session should give you a really good overview of all the ways you can do indexation in TimeLog, but also how you can plan your indexation and how you can validate your indexation when you have actually done it. We have made quite a few updates to the indexation interface since last year already. So if you are a new customer or an old customer who's already indexed in TimeLog before, you'll see some new things, and I'll of course point out along the ways what is different when I go through it. And another thing is that when you see this, I show you today, it's actually not released yet. So if you're watching this live right now and not a recording of it on YouTube, then just keep in mind that if you check it on your own computer right now, it won't look the same. So if you're wondering about that, it's because it's released on Tuesday, the 15th of December. So it will be ready for the indexation season here in January. And then finally, I just want to say that I'll be going, of course, a little bit faster dates in order to make it in time. And I'll be talking a bit about hourly rates and also a bit about price lists and so on. And if this is also new to you, then I would encourage you to see last week's power session, which is exactly about hourly rates, where we have gone through everything about hourly rates and how that is set up. So these two videos actually complement each other quite well. So, yep, let's just get going. First of all, the very first thing that you can do, which is also a new thing in the indexation, is that before you start your indexation, you can actually go to your projects now and you can set up whether this project should be indexed at all or not. So even before you go in and index, you don't have to, or when you are in your indexation flow, you don't have to remember all the projects that shouldn't be indexed and remember to filter those out. That can actually be done before. So that's part of the first planning that you can do. So if you just go to your projects list here, this is the list of my projects. So it will probably typically be department managers or account managers that are responsible for the indexing of their own projects. So they will, of course, take a list of their projects, and I could take one of all my milestone projects here and open that one. And just go to the settings. And then down here in the right-hand corner, we have put in a new section where you can set up whether you want to have it indexed or not. As default, it is always set to allow indexation of projects. So all your existing projects in the system will always be allowed to have indexed. Then you can choose to have it never indexed, if that's just the agreement you have with that customer. Or you can choose to just postpone the indexation. So let's say you don't want to have it indexed this season because it's a new project, for example, then you can just choose to go in and say, well, let's postpone it, the indexation, until the 31st of December 21. And in that way, when you reach January indexation season next year, it will be opened up, because when it passes this date, it opens up and become part of the pool of projects that can be indexed again. So I just click Save here. And it stays as an unindexed project, or as a project that can be indexed. Okay, so let's jump into the actual indexation interface. And you do that by going to the projects and index hourly rates. Okay, so if you are in your indexation interface right now, you will see that there are already some new things here. So the current interface would look like you have a tab here saying index by percent, and then you would have one saying index by amount, and that's it. So this time around, we have refactored it a lot. So we have decided to have a tab where you can just filter down and index all your hourly rates, both by percent and amount, in one interface. then you can go in and choose to update your price lists. And by updating your price list, all the connected hourly rates or all the projects with hourly rates connected to those price lists will also be indexed when you update the price list. And then finally, we have created a new indexation overview, which is a report that shows all your historic indexations that you have done in TimeLog previously. And this is good for two things. First of all, it's good for planning your upcoming indexation because you can go in and check what has all the previous customers been indexed. Are there some that we didn't index last year that should maybe get a bigger indexation this year? Are there some special agreements with some customers? Are there some that maybe got indexed a lot last year that should be indexed a little bit less? Yeah. Instead of having to save your indexation externally, you can now go in and check it out in TimeLog. So if I take a look at this now, it's basically a report where you see customer by customer. You can go in and see the projects, the contracts, and down to the hourly rates, what the current price is, when has it last been indexed, and how much it was indexed by. And for this demo, I have an environment here where I have a lot that has not been indexed yet. But if we go down here, we see that we have a project here from last year that I indexed here. My indexation was created on the 31st of March, and it was actually valid from the 1st of March. So that means that I did it in TimeLog on the 31st of March, and then I decided that it should take effect on the 1st of March. So this is the date of when the hourly rates took effect of a new price. Then I can go in and see what was the former price, and I can see how much was it indexed by, 1%, and what is the current price. Then we have also put in a marker here that shows whether the price on this project is according to the customer or standard price list that the hourly rate is connected to. And in this case, it is not. So it says that the hourly rate deviates from this, the price list that the hourly rate is connected to. Yes. Let's jump in to do some actual indexation then. Here you have some options as well. Of course, you have your filters that you know from all our reports. Typically, you would probably filter down on the account manager. So the account manager can see his or her own projects, or the departments if you have a department head that is in charge of the projects in a department. But you can also do it on project manager level, of course. And then you have over here some view option that defines how broadly you want to do your indexation. And our recommendation is that you start from the broadest level possible. So you index your customers first, and then if you have some special projects or some special agreements on specific projects where you need to go into specific hourly rates, you can sort of go deeper and deeper into these edge cases along the way. But I'll try to demo a flow how that could be used here. So if I just show my customer list here, I see now here I have my 8 customers, and for most of my customers, I just want to do a general indexation. So I go up here and say same indexation for all, and I would like to apply 2%. And then I choose just to do my 2% for all my customers, but I do know that I have some special agreements with, for example, ARA. So I take that off, and I also maybe have with VIQ and Broker. So for the rest, I just do a general indexation of 2%. I go down here, press index selected. And now we come to the second new part of the indexation interface, which is rounding. And we have created this because when you do a general indexation of a given percent, then of course your hourly rates will be having odd numbers or odd results in the end. And that's of course not super smart, because then you would have to go in afterwards and manually change all the hour rates to a more nice number. So what you can do is that you can apply a rounding that takes effect after you have indexed by 2%, and then the system will go in and round either up to the nearest number or down, always round down to the nearest number, or just generally round to the nearest. So if we just choose to round to the nearest, then it will round either up or down, and then you can choose what value it should round to. So for this demo, let's take 5. It's a nice even number, and then you go in and choose here from which date should the indexation take effect. So remember, today we are indexing, so it will be in the report, it will say index created on the 11th of December, but when it takes effect could be on the 1st of December, for example. So we click save. And the system now says it has processed all the contracts on these customers. So now if I go back again to the indexation overview and click show, we see now we have a lot of our rates that have been indexed. And as you can see, it was created on the 11th today, and the indexation was valid from the 1st of December. We also see here the former price, and then we see that the actual indexation percent varies a little bit. And this is because we applied rounding. So some of the hourly rates have been rounded up to, for example, this one, 25. Remember, we've rounded to the nearest 5. And some of them have been rounded a little bit down. And that, and since, since this is a little bit less, a little bit more than 2%, you get the actual given percentage that it has been rounded by here, or indexed by here. Also, since we did not choose to update the price list while we did the indexation, but we actually just indexed on the contracts, then all these hourly rates now deviates from the price list that it has been connected to. If I then go back to the indexation interface again, and I click to show the list here, you can also see here the latest indexation has now taken effect. Here it also shows that it has hourly rates deviates from the price lists. What you can then do now to go on is that you can choose that you want to filter out everything that has been indexed before a given date. So if you choose to take today's date, it will actually filter out everything that you have already done. So when you click show, then you can see everything that you need to go through going on. So for the rest here, I remembered that I had some special agreements with these customers, but I couldn't really remember what. So I just want to take it down a level and see what projects it was on. Okay, so it was the milestone projects. And for this example, I just want to go in and say, okay, this milestone project, let's go in and block that, as it shouldn't be indexed. So again, I can just go from the indexation interface into the project, go to the settings, and go down here and say, never index this project, save. And when I go back again to my indexation interface, click show again, then we only have one left. This one, I remember that I have a special agreement on, so some hourly rates should be indexed in a certain way. So for this, I can go down to the deepest indexation level and just take a look at what hourly rates are actually on the contract. So I take the deepest view option here, click show, and this gives me a list of the contracts that are on this project. and I can actually see all the hourly rates when they have been indexed latest, and I can go in hourly rate by hourly rate and do a special indexation on them. And I can also just do it by giving them a new price. So if I do that, it will calculate my indexation for me. I can also do it the other way around. I can do 4% here, and it will calculate the new price for me. Here, it is also possible to just do a general indexation and also apply the rounding. So for this one, we could say always round up to newest 5. And then you just select the contract or the project it should apply to, and it does the calculation for you. And again, you can go in and say, okay, even though we want to do an indexation of 4, I think it has rounded it up a bit too far. So let's do 1260 for this one. And you can say we have now rounded it to a more to an indexation that is a bit closer to the 4%, even though it's rounded down. And again, you just go in and you say index selected, choose your effective date and click save. And the indexation has taken effect, and you can click show here. And since I still have my latest indexation date as today's date, they have now been completed, and then you can go on to index the rest. Then we have the option to update your price lists.
Simon?
Yep.
Just before you continue, can you maybe try to zoom in, because there was one of the participants telling me that the picture is a little bit unclear to her. So maybe you, maybe it's better for her now. If not, then if you have problems, just let us know. It looks fine with me, but yes, sorry.
Okay. I'll take it just one out here. Yeah. Yep. Okay, just let me know.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the price lists. So another new option you have right here is to go in and just update your price list and let that take effect on all your hourly rates on your projects. You can actually do this via the price list in the system administration as well, but here you just get a nice overview of what effects the price list has on your projects already. So you can either take your standard hourly rates, or you can go into your custom hourly rates and show the price lists, and it works the exact same way. You can either just update the prices, or you can do a percent indexation with rounding. And when you go in and do an update here, you can see where it takes effects on the contracts below. And let's just try and update just one price here. Index selected. Here again, you could choose, should I update the price list, or should I actually just index whatever is connected to the price list? For now, we will just both update the price list and do the indexation underneath. Again, I will choose a date where it should take effect and click save. And let's take a look at the updated price list. So now it's 305, and you can see the hourly rate that is connected to it is now also 305, and it has actually had the information removed that it is now not deviating from the hourly rate list, because we just updated the hourly rates or the hourly rate list and indexed the hourly rate so it fits with the price list as well. Yeah. And again, when all your indexation is done, either just when you choose to do it on the projects, or you want to update your price list, you can always go into the indexation overview and validate your indexations that is done. So let's see here. We should now have a lot more information, since we did a lot of indexation here, and go through everything. And if there's something where you've made a mistake or something that you want to change, it's easy just to go back and redo the indexation. It will just override. And Of course, you can always go down to the deepest level and just update the prices, since that is easier to do than go in and recalculate a percentage that should sort of redo the indexation back to what it was before. So yeah, I guess that is it for what I wanted to demo.